Today we are telling you 5 things you did not know about Main Street USA.
Main Street USA at Disneyland is by far the most popular land here at Disneyland because every single person who comes to Disney has to see it.
When Disneyland opened in the 1950s, it was considered a pretty formal affair. So everyone would show up in their Sunday best to spend their day in the park. To set the scene, let's take a little trip back in time.
As you guys know, Main Street USA was like the pinnacle of Disneyland, and they always dressed fancy back in the day.
So of course, we had to dress the part.
Yeah, we decided that if we're going to be giving you guys Main Street tips, then we had to dress like they dressed in 1955 when Main Street was built.
Something I think is super cool is that Walt Disney was a theater kid growing up, and when he built Disneyland and Main Street, and really the whole park, he wanted it to be like you were watching a play. So this part right here is the lobby.
It's the lobby, like right as you're coming in. There's no music out here, if you notice, so...
Because the music starts in there when you get onto the stage.
So if you guys have noticed, the bricks that I'm standing on right now are actually red. And that is because Walt Disney wanted it to feel like you were on a red carpet when you got to Disneyland because you're the VIP of the show. You are the star of the show and you get to decide where you go on your adventure. All right, let's go jump onto Main Street and we'll show you fact number 2. So if you look behind me, you may see that that is the Disneyland Fire Department. Now, above the Disneyland Fire Department was actually an apartment. But this wasn't just any apartment, this was Walt Disney's apartment that he stayed in when he was here building Disneyland. So whenever Walt was in Disneyland, he was right here in that apartment.
And I think the craziest part about this fact is that this fire pole right here located inside the fire department used to go straight up to Walt Disney's apartment and he would slide down every day, except pretty much 2 weeks after Disneyland opened, a couple kids crawled their way up and Walt was in there working. And let's just say a couple days later, it no longer goes up to his apartment.
But to me, the coolest part about Walt's apartment is that to this day, that lamp in Walt's apartment is always on. And so, back when Walt was alive and living in this apartment, Walt left the light on in the window to let the cast members know that, hey, I'm here, I'm in the park, and you know, that was pretty much the cast member's signal to know that Walt Disney was in the park. So ever since Walt passed, that light has always been on. Unless a bloodline member of Walt Disney's family is in the park, is the only time that light will ever be off. Otherwise, Walt Disney's light is on to signify that Walt is always with us, and that is really special to me. And fun fact about the insiders is that when we are leaving Disneyland, especially like right now when the park's been closed for like 45 minutes already, is we will take a selfie with Walt and we call it our Goodnight Walt selfie. So if you guys take a selfie with Walt, tag us and send it to us because we'd love to see your Goodnight Walt selfie. Good night, Walt.
Good night, Walt. Good night, Walt. Thank you.
See you next time.
So much fun.
So if you guys will remember, in the olden days, the credits used to roll before the movie, which brings me to fact number 3. On Main Street, you might notice that there are names in the windows. Now, it's a pretty common knowledge that the names in the windows are actually people who worked to build Disneyland. But what you might not know, they are the opening and the closing credits of your Disneyland movie. All of these windows have the names of people who actually worked on Disneyland on them. This one's really cool. It says Orange Grove Property Management with Ron Dominguez as the name. Now, Ron Dominguez was actually the one who owned the orange groves that Disneyland was built on.
So talking about windows, I had to mention our friend Bob Gurr, who has a window here in Main Street USA. He's the guy that designed the Matterhorn and the monorail, and he was hired by Walt Disney to do so. And he is such a cool guy who has so many Disney stories. We actually got the opportunity to interview Bob Gurr for our channels. Bob is an awesome guy, and when we're talking about windows, we had to come and mention his. We're cruising down Main Street USA. That brings us over to this water fountain. Now, it is a functioning water fountain, and it may look like every other water fountain, but it is not. Here's something pretty cool about it. So if you look at this wall, there are literally 3 different kinds of brick on this wall. Now, when they were building Disneyland, they were testing, this is the wall where they tested the different kinds of brick that they would have on Main Street. But they were really rushing to finish Main Street in time for opening, so they never replaced this wall back to what they decided Main Street should look like. So they literally have wavy bricks, solid bricks. They all look different. But this is almost like the concept art of Main Street USA, and I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, and this is easily my favorite fact about Main Street, and it's that the Starbucks on Main Street was quite a challenge to get in place. So as you can see here, they're using the old-fashioned Starbucks logo. This was one of their original logos when Starbucks was founded in the 1970s. And what's so special about it is that they wanted a Starbucks on Main Street, but Disney said Main Street is modeled after old-fashioned Marceline, Missouri, and there's no way that that big green Starbucks logo can be here. So after a couple variations and fighting back and forth, they landed with the Market House that has this amazing old-fashioned logo, and it fits perfectly on Main Street, USA. I think is pretty cool is the fact that when you're walking this way, when you're going back home, it looks a lot closer because the buildings are smaller here and taller at the beginning of Main Street to look close, and that helps when you're walking into the park because it looks like the castle's really far away, right?
Yeah, so it makes the castle look really big.
It makes Main Street look really long, but when you're walking home, it's like, oh, it's not too far to my car.
Because it's like the start of your journey is really long, but the end of your journey doesn't have to be.
I know we've all had those really long Disney days where it's like, I can't imagine walking all the way back to my car because my feet are killing me. And Walt's like, I got you, I'm gonna mess with your mind. It's not any closer.
Because half of the game is mental.
Yes, really is. And so it looks a lot closer when you're going home so that it's not as big of a deal.
All right, y'all, the park was crazy crowded today, so we actually waited until the park closed to finish the rest of this video. So it is currently 12:15. The park is massively closed, but let's go talk about some Disney things that you didn't know existed because we have a lot more to tell you.
So something you'll notice is that the Main Street is playing in fantastic fashion. I think it's great. It starts at the front like we talked about with the beginning scene, and it goes all the way to the castle with this Main Street music. But if you notice, as you walk into the lands, there's kind of a fade out, and then you hear the music, let's say for Frontierland, there's like a fade out and then fade into the new music because you're entering a new scene of your day at Disneyland. This is the Frontierland sign. We were just on Main Street, and if you keep walking back, the music gets more and more quiet. You just keep walking, and it just keeps getting more and more quiet. Here, you can keep coming. It's a little quieter now. And now you can start to hear the Frontierland music. Maybe the mic's picking this up, I'm not sure. And then you just walk in, and now you hear the music of Frontierland. It's pretty cool.
There's ducklings, and they're really cute. Look at them. Hi, dears. Super cool fact number 5 is that right here at Coke Corner, you see how the lights are alternating between red and white?
These shining lights are everywhere on Main Street, USA, but there's one special light.
See, come look at this. So when they were putting in these lights, they realized that they had an odd number of lights instead of an even number.
And they alternate from red and white.
So in order to avoid 2 colors in a row, they just colored one light half white and half red.
This is the only light like this on Main Street, and you guys have to come find it when you come to Disneyland.
It's so cool.
Main Street is honestly one of my favorite places in the entire world, and it's by far my favorite land at Disneyland.
We have actually spent more than 12 hours in a single park day on Main Street, and we realized we never went past the castle just because we love the environment
We love Main Street so much, so we hope that these facts help you love Main Street just a little bit as much as we do.
And if you haven't guessed yet, we are actually the Aristocats, so it's been super awesome.
Be sure to subscribe for more awesome Disney things that you probably didn't know, and more magic.
And why don't you guys check out this video right here for more fun Disney facts.
We'll see you next time.
All right, bye guys.